What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about why did I started to learn how to code. Alright, so this is going to be a video just really talking about how I started in the industry, when did I started to learn how to code, what kind of things did I build, how did I apply for my first job, and so on. This is really an overview about how everything started. So, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm originally from Portugal. That's where I was born, that's where I was growing up. And I actually went into the university learning civil engineering at the time. And obviously this is a completely different field. And I remember that when I was studying in the university, I had a subject which was in programming with Java. And I remember that when I was trying to do that in the university, I struggled so much and I hated it so much. That was my first contact with code. When I was starting to learn how to code, I completely hated it. I was like, oh my god, I don't know how these guys from computer science, they can do this because I hate it. It was so hard, I couldn't understand what was going on and so on. So this was like my first contact with this. Now the thing was, I finished my degree. It was like, I finished my degree, I think it was around like 2013 or something like that. And I wanted to, of course, I finished my degree in civil engineering. I wanted to get a job as a civil engineer, but there was a huge financial crisis in Portugal, so I couldn't get a job as a civil engineer. Even when I was offering myself to companies, like to work as an intern, doing basically an internship for free. Okay, and the company was saying no, sorry, we can't take you for free or any. It was just hard. So most of my colleagues, they were going to countries like Dubai, they were going to Brazil, they were going to some places in Africa like Mozambique, Angola, and so on. And obviously I had to do the same thing. I had to get out from Portugal, because if I was just gonna be just like complaining all the time, oh, we don't have jobs, and I would be still there, like many people they do, they just complain about life, they don't do nothing to change it. So how did I start it? I moved to the UK, I moved to London, and when I was living in London, I started to work in a coffee shop to to earn some money, so I was able to support myself, I guess, like everyone else. And then when I was there in London and I was just like looking for jobs as a civil engineer, I couldn't get any job. I couldn't get even interviews because the format of the CV and the cover letters was completely different from Portugal. So it was a very hard transition for me in order to try to apply for jobs, to get interviews and so on. Meanwhile, I was looking for the jobs on my spare time after work. I came across a website called Team Treehouse. And this website was actually teaching you how to code and how to build websites. Now, if you guys remember, I was just talking about that when I was in the university, I completely hated the code. I was learning Java in that time and I really hated it. But now, I was learning to code with a purpose. I could learn how to build a website. And in that time, I remember that I was into this kind of anime called Samurai X, Rurouni Kenshin. I'm not sure. I know that some of you might know it. If not, just do a quick Google search for it. I love that anime. And what I wanted to do was, I wanted to build a website to share the episodes so other people, they could watch it. Remember, in that time, YouTube was still not too big and there was not too many options online to watch these kind of things. And I thought, okay, I want to build a website. How cool would it be for me to build a website so I could share these kind of episodes with other people? And I was like so motivated and so excited to do this kind of project. Now, I started to learn this on this website, Team Treehouse. I actually have a link in here on the description if you guys want to check it. And then the time was just passing. This was like in 2013 when I got started. I actually started to enjoy this. Wow, this thing to build website is actually quite good. And the time was just passing and I couldn't get a job as a civil engineer. I was feeling terrible. I was feeling like horrible, like how in the hell I got into the university, I finished a master's degree, okay, it was super hard, and now I can't get a job in my country, I can't get a job in the UK. I was feeling horrible. So all of a sudden I started to type down on Google like jobs that I could get, like good jobs, like paying some good salary, jobs that I could get without going to the university. Because look, the last thing that I wanted was to go back into the university to learn something else and then finish and then I couldn't get a job again. This was the last thing that I wanted. So I was searching on Google and came up a lot of things like being a copywriter, like writing down a lot of text for blogs. Looks like this is a very well paid job. There was things like air traffic controller, where you need to work in an airport and control the air traffic. It looks like it's really well paid. And there was a lot of these kind of things, and one that came was web developer. And I was like, what? I actually have been building these websites right now and I was enjoying it. And all of a sudden I found this online that you could actually get a job as a web developer with some good salary, and you don't need to go to the university again, which means you don't need a degree to get a job. I was like, this can't be true, this can't be true, this can't be so easy like that. Because for me, building these websites and learning this was quite enjoyable. I was like, nobody will ever pay me to build a website for them. This looks too easy for that. And all of a sudden I started to search more and more and more, and that's when I actually found a blog of a girl. I mentioned this I don't know how many times, but I don't really remember which one was the blog of this girl, because I would share it obviously. And this girl was just saying that she was learning to code by herself, and all of a sudden she started to put her projects online, and she started to build a CV and a personal website, and all of a sudden people started to contact her. People started to tell her, look, can you come for an interview and so on. And I was like, no way, I have to do this. This is what I said to myself. Okay, Talmo, now it's gonna be time to start learning, and we're gonna do the same thing as well. But now, this is where the problem started, because I think this is the problem with everyone that is a self-taught developer. I was with questions all the time like, okay, so what's the first thing I should learn? And what should I learn after? When do I know enough to actually start applying for jobs? What kind of projects should I put on my website? This was like so many different questions, and obviously I came to a correct solution, because in the end I actually got my first job. But what I'm trying to tell you guys with this is that I learned so much from this process, and all this process took me around like 1 year. From the point that I actually started really serious getting into coding and building the projects and everything, this process, all of it, took me like around 1 year. And this is what I actually, right now in this moment, I actually teach this to my students, or I teach this to other people. I don't know if you guys know, but I do these kind of consulting calls where, you know, if you have a chat with me like via Skype, I share with you all this information if you need to, of course. So if you need this kind of consulting, just send me like an email and we can set up a Skype call. But what I'm trying to say is that everything that I learned, like what are the correct projects, how to prepare to an interview and so on, it was all from going to different places, different websites, different YouTube videos. I was gathering all the information. And then I was like, okay, now it's time. It's enough. I'm not going to waste any more time, because I was feeling every single day like I don't know enough. Maybe I should still learn a little bit more about this. Maybe I should still learn a bit more about that. It was all the time that I was like, enough. I'm just gonna put my CV online and I'm gonna start applying for some jobs. And that's it. I started to get the interviews. And finally, I got my first job. Now, one thing that I want to mention in here, guys, is that When I was working in that coffee shop, I was already in a good position. I was a team leader there, and I was actually getting some quite good money. Not like amazing, but it was good money. And when I transitioned from that job to my first job as a web developer, the money that I got was really much less. Was a really low salary comparing to the other one. But you know what? I said, I don't care. I'm gonna take it. Because the hardest part is to get a job without having any previous experience. Because look, I was working in a coffee shop. How could I demonstrate to them that I was able to build websites, I was able to code and so on? I was like, I'm gonna take it. And look, the interview with this company, it was not easy. They were asking me things like, you know, show me some of your projects that you have built before. They were asking me technical questions like, can you do a click function? Can you target this element? How can you do this with JavaScript? What's the difference between double equals to triple equals? What's the difference between undefined and null? There was like really a lot of different questions in there. But I managed to do it, guys. I managed to do it. So basically, that's how I started. That's how I started. Going on to Treehouse, learning all these things. Going on to Code Academy was around at that time as well. Buying some books. I bought some books. I remember the John Duquette books. They really helped me to get prepared. And then obviously, it's just going for the interviews. I know that most of you are afraid all the time, like, I'm not ready for this yet. I still need to do this. I need to do that. No, guys. You are ready as long as you know how to build a website, as long as you know the basics of JavaScript. You are ready, because I'm actually even going to do a separate video about this, is that some companies, they ask you a lot of difficult things in the interview, but then when you go into the actual job, you're just going to be doing like easy stuff that is like a 5 years old could do it. Like, can you change the background color of this button? Can you update the text in this part of the... That's it. But yeah, guys, this is my story of how I actually started to learn how to code. Like I said, the first time that I got in touch with this, I was in the university, I hated it. But then when I was actually doing it for a purpose, because I wanted to build a website, and then because I wanted to get a job, because I couldn't get a job as a civil engineer, things changed and I actually started to enjoy it. But yeah, that's it for my story, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about anything that I did in the process, you know, just let me know in the comments down below, because I always answer all of your questions. And yeah, that's it, guys. Don't forget to check my newest courses on telmoacademy.com. I also have the link in the description. I'm putting all my new courses in there. And that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.